to Thirsty Thursdays with a therapist, where we quench the thirst in your relationships. Today on Thirsty Thursdays, I want to talk about therapy itself. I want to talk about making that first call. If you're thinking about or pondering therapy, or you know someone who's not quite sure if it would be a fit for them, or if it would actually help resolve whatever it is that they're going through, I thought it might be helpful to do a few videos sharing a lot of the questions that I tend to get on consultations, and answer some of them here for you, especially if you are on the fence or you're not sure. You have a friend who's maybe been talking about maybe doing therapy, but they haven't quite been able to take that step to make that call or send that email. So I want to kind of first start off by busting a myth, because people tend to seem or feel that you have to be in crisis or should be in crisis to come to therapy or to seek out therapy. And that is not the case. Of course, there are therapists who specialize and really do crisis intervention. I am not one of them. I will refer you though if you give me a call. But it's interesting to me, because so many people will wait until they're at the point of calling the divorce lawyers, or they're like at their ends rope where they really just want to like their partner, or they are at a point where whatever it is, maybe it's some sort of transition, or it's their job, or some family stress. They are at a point where they are not functioning. And I think a lot of people feel like, well, maybe I don't need it, or maybe it wouldn't be helpful because like I'm not falling apart, I'm like still eating and I have an appetite and I'm sleeping through the night. You do not and should not wait until you are at a point where you are unable to get out of bed or go to work, or you've lost your appetite, you're not sleeping, whether it's from something that has occurred in your life or it's just you don't know what it is. But you definitely don't have to wait until you are in crisis to make a call or to seek out a therapist, nor should you. So I want to bust that myth that you don't have to be low functioning to necessarily benefit or need therapy. In fact, wouldn't you rather come into therapy, maybe have a quick little 10 sessions or so, and knock out some issues that maybe you and your partner have been having, where you're having the same fight over and over again, seemingly over nothing, but you can't quite figure out why they're not getting you, why you keep running into this issue. You feel like you've said it 10, 20 different ways. Sometimes sitting with an objective, unbiased therapist who's a fit for the both of you, she can translate, or he can translate what the two of you are missing within a couple of sessions. I mean, it really can happen that way, and you can begin to unpack and build on what's revealed within that, rather than kind of just hovering on you're always late, or you didn't do the dishes again, and you're just talking about the content and not really getting to what's going on underneath. So you don't need to be in crisis, number one. Number two, another sign that you might benefit from therapy. Let's say that you are not necessarily in crisis. You're not pondering or kind of like fixating on some specific issue or person or thing that's causing you stress directly, but perhaps you're just kind of feeling blah. And like there's nothing going on that you can see anyway that might be impacting you feeling that way, but perhaps you're feeling kind of blah, you're feeling a little dead inside, you're feeling a little sleepy when you shouldn't be sleepy. Perhaps you're just kind of coasting and just moving about your day, and everything just kind of feels robotic, and maybe you haven't felt that pep in your step in a while, and you want to try and tap back into that, and you want to gain some insight into what might be playing in that. Therapy can be so great for mindfulness. Think about it. How often do we take 50 minutes to an hour for ourselves on a weekly basis? How often do we do that? And just sit with ourselves, and it's about us. How often do we do that sort of reflective thinking and really looking into the whys, and being able to have someone who's skilled and who has the professional background and training to help you to maybe ask the questions that you wouldn't ask yourself because of all the noise that's going on all the time. And I don't mean literally. I mean the phones. I mean the social media. I mean how we constantly have distractions left and right. We are overstimulated. How could you be mindful? It's really, really hard, right? which is why it's so important that you're meditating, that you have some sort of practice that helps you to stay present and be in the moment and slow down so you can listen to yourself, so you can hear yourself, so you can tap into things that are blocking you that you might not be able to do otherwise. So therapy can be really great just for mindfulness and helping you to better cultivate and strengthen that muscle amidst all of the noise, which I call it, and chatter that's constantly going on and that's being thrown at us. Number 3, what's another thing or another reason or another sign that you might benefit from therapy, and maybe you want to pick up that phone. Perhaps you know what you want. Perhaps you know what the issue is. Perhaps you know the source of your stress. Maybe it's your boss, your partner, your mom, who knows. But perhaps you know what it is that is bugging you or that's getting under your skin, or you know what it is that you want, but you are blocked from taking action to get it or to resolve it, and you don't know why. That's a great reason to come into therapy, to sort of unpack what might be blocking you, and to have someone, once again, who's objective, unbiased, who very well may clearly think of like 10 things that might be blocking you that you hadn't even considered yet. And perhaps you're in a situation where something just feels impossible. You know what you want, you know why you want it, you know it would feed you and nourish you and light you up, but it's completely impossible for these number of reasons. You know, a skilled therapist can really help you tap into why you feel like it's impossible. Who told you it was impossible? What are the different structures in society that are informing your thinking that that door is closed? And also helping you to explore doors that you maybe haven't because you feel like it's just not going to happen. So those are just a few things. I won't go on much more, but I want to continue on this thread in the next Thirsty Thursdays and talk about kind of building on what I said at the beginning in terms of you don't got to be in crisis. You don't need to be at a point where you're like, do I want to be in this relationship to enter couples counseling? In fact, you could be in a really good place, a really, really good, strong place in your relationship and really benefit from therapy, particularly premarital therapy, if you are getting married. I do premarital counseling, and I'm telling you, it's really, I love doing premarital counseling because I am able to ask couples questions and help them to explore things that they have not yet come up against, that they have not even asked themselves, like, well, what would I do in this situation? And it can really open up some dialogues that that just haven't come up because they're not present, or they're maybe in a different stage of life. And it really helps couples to get clear on their values, and it either can really confirm that their values are really aligned, or that they need to kind of unpack and expand on their wants and desires when it comes to certain contexts. So if you are getting married anytime soon, if you know someone who is, and I don't care, you don't have to be, like I said, in a bad place or have issues. You don't have to even come in with issues. It can be a really great short-term journey to take before you make that commitment to your partner. And yeah, I guess I'll end there. If you guys have further questions, you can definitely go on my website, www.letsunpacktherapy.com, and you can set up a phone consultation with me. Please like my video if you're on the YouTube. If you're seeing this on YouTube and you like it, subscribe so you don't miss more. I'm going to continue talking about some common questions that I get from people who are on the fence about therapy, or who I talk to in my phone consultations that might help you out and answer some questions that you've been having. Until next time, bye.